Welcome to Kyoto, Japan. A foreign tourist was caught carving graffiti into bamboo at Kyoto's famous Fushimi Inari shrine. And honestly, a lot of Japanese people are furious. If you're watching this from overseas, you might be wondering, why is everyone so angry? It's just bamboo. Japan isn't even that religious. That is exactly why I wanted to make this video. Because I think many people are misunderstanding what Japanese people are so upset about. This isn't really a story about bamboo. This is a story about how Japanese people see nature, sacred places, and respect. So today, I want to explain why this incident has touched such nerve here in Japan. For many visitors, Fushimi Inari is one of Japan's most famous tourist attractions. A place to take photos, a place to walk through thousands of red torii gates, a place to experience traditional Japan. But for Japanese people, it's much more than that. Fushimi Inari is first and foremost a shrine, a place where people come to pray, to express gratitude, to ask for protection, success, and good fortune. Even the famous torii gates are not simply decorations. Most of them are donated by individuals and businesses as offerings. Each gate represents someone's wish, gratitude, or prayer. So when something's damaged here, many Japanese people don't see it as a vandalism at the tourist attraction. They see it as disrespect towards a sacred place. And here's where things get interesting. You may often hear that Japan is one of the least religious countries in the world. And in some ways, that's true. Most Japanese people don't attend religious services every week, and many couldn't clearly explain the teachings of Shinto or Buddhism. But that doesn't mean that religion has no influence here. In fact, spirituality in Japan is often embedded into everyday life. So Japanese people don't really think about it as a religion. It's just simply part of how we see the world. One of the things that makes Shinto unique is that unlike Christianity and Islam, Shinto has no single sacred text like the Bible or the Quran. There is no holy book that tells people exactly what to believe or how to live their lives. Instead, Shinto is rooted in a way of seeing the world, a way of seeing spiritual significance in nature. Mountains, rivers, forests, waterfalls, ancient trees. These are not simply part of the landscape. For centuries, many Japanese people have believed that nature contains spiritual presence. This idea is often described through the concept of kami. Kami is often translated as God or spirit, but neither translation is perfect. Kami can exist in mountains, in forests, in rivers, and remarkable natural places. The idea is not necessarily that the god literally lives inside every tree. Rather, nature itself deserves respect because it contains something sacred. If you've ever watched The Princess Mononoke, you've already seen this way of thinking. In the film, forests, animals, rivers, and mountains are not only a simple part of the background, they possess presence. They possess meaning. They deserve respect. While Princess Mononoke is a work of fiction, the world behind it feels very familiar to many Japanese people. The idea that nature is not just a resource to be used, but something we coexist with, is deeply rooted in Japanese culture. This way of thinking has shaped Japanese culture for generations. When Japanese children are growing up, they often hear things that may sound unusual to foreigners. If a child kicks a table, a parent might say, "Don't do that, the table will feel pain." Of course, no one literally believes that table has feelings. That's not the point. The point is respect. Respect for objects, respect for nature, respect for things that support our lives. Many Japanese people grow up hearing things like this, and over time, it creates a mindset that says, just because something can't speak doesn't mean it deserves no respect. This way of thinking sometimes creates cultural differences that surprises foreign visitors. For example, many Western discussions about ethics focus on the distinction between animals and plants. Animals are often viewed very differently from the vegetables or trees. But traditionally in Japan, the boundary can feel less clear. Many Japanese people grow up hearing that all living things deserve respect. Animals, plants, trees, flowers, even rice. This doesn't mean Japanese people refuse to eat them. Far from it. In fact, Japanese culture has long recognized that life is sustained by consuming other forms of life. Before meals, many Japanese people say, "Itadakimasu." That word doesn't simply mean "let's eat." It carries the idea of humbly receiving the life and expressing gratitude for it. Because of that, some Japanese people are occasionally puzzled by Western debates about which forms of life deserves moral consideration and which do not. The important point is not whether one view is right or wrong. It's simply that many Japanese people grow up with a broader sense that all living things deserve respect. And I think this is the part that many people overseas are missing. The issue isn't just someone carved graffiti into bamboo. The bamboo itself was standing inside a sacred place. For many people, that makes all the difference. Japanese culture has long taught respect for nature and living things. But when that living thing exists within the grounds of a shrine, that meaning becomes even deeper. A shrine is not simply a tourist attraction. It's a place where people pray, a place where people express gratitude, a place that has been treated with reverence for generations. So if someone damages a bamboo grove inside a sacred place, many Japanese people don't just see damage to nature. They see disrespect towards the shrine itself. They see disrespect towards the people who come there to pray. And they see disrespect towards traditions that have been passed down for centuries. If this had happened somewhere else, people would still be upset. But because it happened inside the grounds of Fushimi Inari, one of Japan's most important shrines, the reaction became much stronger. It wasn't just seen as graffiti, it was seen as a violation of a sacred place. And that's why many Japanese people took this personally. As someone who works in tourism, this is actually the part that concerns me the most. When something like this happens, public frustration grows. And many people, unfortunately, do not separate the one bad tourist from millions of good ones. They simply remember a foreign tourist did something very disrespectful. The overwhelming majority of visitors to Japan are wonderful. They're curious, they're respectful, and they just genuinely want to learn about the country. But incidents like this create suspicion. They create tension. And sometimes they lead to more restrictions that affect everyone. As someone who wants more people to visit Japan and discover what makes countries so special, I found this so deeply disappointing. Japan is not asking visitors to be perfect. No one expects that. But some places in Japan are more than tourist attractions. A shrine isn't just a photo spot. A torii gate isn't just beautiful structure. And sometimes bamboo grove isn't just a bamboo. The more you understand the value behind these places, the more meaningful your experience in Japan becomes. Travel isn't just about seeing the destination. It's about understanding how the people who live there see the world. And if this video helps even a few people to understand Japan a little better, I'm glad I made it. Thanks for watching. I will see you in next video.